to better say hello to folks. So I was trying to learn how to say hello, how are you in Japanese. So English to Japanese translation. If anyone is from Japan or speaks Japanese, maybe they can tell me, am I close?
こんにちは、元気ですか？
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 こんにちは、元気ですか? I think that's it. And I also had tried to learn how to say it in German. Guten Tag. I remember that. Or Hallo, Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, wie geht es dir?
Oh, yeah. Guten Tag. Wie geht es dir? Hola. Oh, Hallo, Guten Tag. Wie geht es dir?
Guten Tag, wie geht es dir?
Wie geht es dir? Yeah, I'm trying to learn a little bit of this stuff. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué ho? Shukriya. Feel the melinge. Hello, how are you? See, Taiwanese, not Taiwanese, Vietnamese. Xin chào. Xin chào, I believe, is hello. And come on is thank you, I believe. Come on. Come on. Maybe pronouncing it wrong. Sometimes these things don't give you the best AI voice that sounds like. I mean, I'm sure people probably live in these places probably think the AI doesn't sound correct, probably. But anyway. So yeah, I forgot to open the chat window. I always forget that. I've always been one of them people when I'm doing like artwork and stuff, I tend to forget. I've always been like the radio's playing and I don't hear it anymore. And just like that, I'll forget the chat box is here and pop out chat. There we go. I'd love to have like a second screen that I could have this on. But anyway. There's a few things I want to work on, but hello, hola. Yeah, what's the language, your primary language? Let's see if I can say hello in it. Maybe it's English. I don't mean to assume. India. Kaise ho? Shukriya fil melinge. Kaise ho? Hello. Shukriya, thank you. Fil melinge. See you again, friend. Those are the only things I know. I think namaste is also a way of saying hello. But yeah, I used to work at a place. Actually, I worked out at a place, at a gym. The guy was from India. We talked quite a bit. I'd ask him how to say different things, but those were the things that I remembered. I actually worked for people from India that owned a Baskin Robbins. When I was 14 years old, I worked at a Baskin Robbins, and her name was Chitra. It was really nice, really, really nice. Yeah, some people have asked about making some tracks in India. I was looking, I'm not even sure. I mean, I would assume they have like off-road tracks there too, like car race tracks. Look some up. A friend of mine wants me to also make a track from England. I've been working on that damn thing for a long time. Walters Arena. Every time I start on it, I'm like, I think, well, this will be it. This time I learned enough, I can do it. And every time I start working on it, I'm thinking, oh man, I need a lot. I need a lot more. I need to learn to do this. This is the old lava level. I'm just trying to think of things to do to it. After the update, some things were not working. Oh, the mods aren't, the prefabs are not working. Well, the prefabs aren't going to work if they're not loaded in the game. And I forgot, they updated the game, and the prefabs are... Let's see, let's go to the updates. The old update, 26. See all these vehicles in here? Oh, these are all the things, a lot of these were for the level, so they're not going to load if this stuff isn't loaded. New bridge, rope bridge, old log. Yeah, I forgot when they updated the game, I didn't move these over. Now see, they're also in the level. Some of them are in the level packed as prefabs, and the way they load is, well, the level loads from it being in the levels folder. Any cars that are in free roam mode that I made a mod for free roam mode, they load because they're in the vehicles folder. So then when you pack the level, you got to do like a file structure where you got vehicles and level in a subfolder, and you have to let the game pack the level. So I hadn't had any luck packing them myself. I always let the game pack them. But now it should load. I should have the prefabs here should load. And that's what the intentions is, so that when people load this level, when I share it, they'll have all this stuff loaded. And if I'm talking to myself, that's fine. I always do. I talk to myself all the time. Just if anybody plays this stream later, they can hear everything I said. See, this is a prefab that loads with the level. So I can spawn the car here and get out of the car. What I would love to be able to do, in fact, is be able to tell these items not to allow, because you can tab to these different items. These are different mods that are loading with the level. So that's the bridge, that's the other bridge. But anyway, let me get my controller. And let me get out the car. Hit F on the keyboard. And we will walk over here. If you've seen Squid Game, this is the bridge I made. I made a mod from Squid Game here. And it works. Like, this one will not break, for example, and this one will. Oops, I chose wrong. Oops. Yeah, well, the mods are deactivated when you first go into the mod folder. Um, they're deactivated. I had to tell it to reactivate. Actually, see, the way I have my mods are different. I don't have mine in the unpacked folder like most folks. Most folks. See, if you go to mods, this is where you put like any mods that you have that are zipped, and any that are unpacked go in here. So I got these trains I just recently got. But the things that I make, that I work on, I leave them in the vehicles folder. Because basically when you work on a mod and you do any texture changes, that's getting saved in this folder anyway. And rather than have this mod in two different places and then when it's time to share it, be like, damn, which one do I copy from which folder? It's easier this way. And just like there and there, I got the levels and the levels. But then when I get ready to pack them together, I got to combine the mods from the vehicle and the level and move them into the unpacked folder. And then have them in something that they're basically in a folder with the name of the level. And then, yeah, it's... So anyway, my stuff wasn't even, when I told it to enable mods, it didn't matter anyway. I still had to move my stuff. I forgot it. It said, I think it was in the options. No, it wasn't. I know where it was at. When you hit escape in the game, you go to vehicles, or mods, I'm sorry. One of these, anyway, one of these had a little red line through it. Oh, it was here. This had a red line through it, and I just had to uncheck it, or select it. And it just said basically your mods are disabled, and it gave you a warning, and then you enable them, and it worked after that. But mine, like I said, mine didn't move over there. I had to manually move mine anyway, because I put mine in different places than most people. It would appear that I am unstoppable. Oh, now I don't remember which one. Oops. Yeah, that's one way to get cooked right there. Yeah, actually, I also made these so that they have a texture change. People asked me a while back, they're like, how do you make a car get scratches? Well, the way you make a car get scratches is the same way you would make one of these change texture. So pretend this is the car here and it takes damage. And I'll make it damage it, and it's not wanting to damage. Try the other one. Now any other time it would work, but there it goes. See, it cracked. Well, it'd be the same thing. Instead of cracking, it would get scratches. See how it's got two different textures. It's a texture swap. I don't know the pronunciation. I can let me put that in the Google Bing translator and see if it can. If that's Hindi, I see if it can read it. That's not some bad word, is it? Somebody got irritated with me. I made a mod of the flag of India, and I was just showing how you can move the flag with the physics. And I don't know, maybe the guy was joking, you never know. But he's like, you're insulting my flag of my country, flying it upside down. And I think he probably was not even into BeamNG and just thought it was just, for whatever reason, I had the flag upside down in the video.
लावा लाहौर दा पावा अख्तर लावा
Ooh, I want to hear that again. See, translate to English.
लाहौर दा पावा अख्तर लावा
Once again.
लाहौर दा पावा अख्तर लावा
Aktalava. Lahu.
लाहौर दा पावा अख्तर लावा
Lahu da Pava Aktalava. Lahu da Pava Aktalava.
लाहौर दा पावा लावा लाहौर दा पावा
Lahu da Pava
लाहौर दा पावा अख्तर लावा
Aktalava. Lahu da Pava Aktalava. That's about as good as I'm going to get on that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Pakistan. I thought I knew how to say hello in Arabic. I thought it was Mohaden or Mohaden, but I don't think that's right. Mohaden, I thought was how to say it in Arabic, but how to say hello. But I knew Hindi was Kasi Ho. Kasi Ho, Shukriya, Fil Milinge. Kasi Ho, Shukriya, Fil Milinge. And my wife, actually, she's Indian, but not Indian from India. She's Native American, which is also, they're considered Indians, but a different kind of Indian. Yeah, Kaseho, yeah. Kaseho, Shukriya, thanks, thank you. Fil Milinge, see you again, friend. See you again, friend, I think is what the guy told me. Oh yeah, this is a texture swap when a texture damages, so the way that's done is load vehicles, game. So yeah, that's done like this. So you got a deform group and you got the deform material base, which in this particular is glass box. But then deformed material damaged equals glass cracked, which you don't see it, but it's like glass_crack.dds, and this would just be like glassbox.dds, but you don't put the DDS there, it's just looking for the name of the image. So in this case, there's two different images, glass crack and glass. And I've tried a few different ones, but basically that's how you would do a damage to a car part, where you have like a J-beam for like a fender, and you would have a scratched version and you'd have a non-scratched version. So as soon as the destruction event happens, and like this is for like group F would be here. So if any of these the beams for those, if any of them bend, it's considered damage. The flex body for that is I guess I just named the flex body F also. But yeah, that's how you do it. You basically, and you determine the damage, how much damage it can take in the beam spring, beam deform, how much. So whenever that value is reached, it'll permanently deform, and it'll make the texture swap. You also do that for burn things too, like if you want something to burn, look like it's burnt. In exam, in school, it's been a long time since I've been to school. Long time, in fact. Many millions of years ago. Yeah, this mod, your mod was the first mod that I ever examined. In fact, I have it still here, and maybe it didn't migrate over. Let me see. I might have moved the mod. I had it in there. It was the Avalanche. But yeah, I had it in there, Avalanche. I was like forever tried to figure out how in the hell that thing worked. I think you're the one that did the high. I think you did the Avalanche mod, or might be confused. Yeah, High Def did the. I remember that did the Avalanche mod. I think I asked you which. Then I got the code for like how to not swap to a vehicle. It was like in the level. Like I don't want to be able to hit tab and be able to switch to these mods that are spawning with the level like this. And I read the code that you gave me, and it said you have to pretty much edit the mission.json, and that's some stuff I haven't got into yet. I'm assuming that's flow graph editor stuff. Yeah, I actually got a teleporter over here. In fact, these lava balls, they'll go through the teleporter and they'll respawn back at the top. But if the player goes through there, he will not. You just have to make sure that you are the player and not a clone. You just have to change the name. Let's see, this is considered, should be the player. Yeah, so if I go through there, I won't respawn, but everything else will. If I can find it. I got turned around. Yeah, I haven't messed with the flow graph editor at all. I did look at it, and I did watch a video. Not a video, I read the instructions. And I was having a hard time staying awake. See, like, he should pass right through, whereas the ball will not. Yeah, see, he didn't get teleported, but the ball will. I was wondering about the mission system. I remember they updated the game. I remember them saying that they had a mission editor. Gameplay. There's a flow graph editor, but I thought there was also a mission editor. Yeah, mission editor. No mission selected. And new mission. Oh, I can tell it to be, it ain't got to be flow graph. It can be something else. But flow graph would be giving me more of the more precise options. Like I could do a lot more with flow graph than I probably could with one of these generics. Yeah, I just wanted to not spawn. It's like this loads free. When this loads here, free roam, these mods spawn automatically. And I just wanted to make it where the player didn't have to fool with tabbing between all these. Because if you tab and you have to go cycle through all of them, that can be kind of frustrating. I just packed these as prefabs. But I did the same thing you did with the use the green filter button. I'll have to look. Yeah, see, the bridge is here. Then I got this piece here that breaks, that also spawns. Well, it takes a few times to break it. Maybe a lot of times. Maybe a dump truck. And then, of course, these little balls up here, they're spawning. Yeah, I got a flow graph is something I definitely want to learn that I haven't learned yet. So, but yeah, I got in my messenger. I got that code that you gave me that basically says focus. I remember saying something about focus, vehicle focus. But if that's handled through the gameplay editor, a mission editor, then I'll definitely try to get that working. Mission editor. They ought to have it where you could just have free roam in here, I guess. Where basically, I don't know, or you can just, maybe where you could just pick a car or pick a mod, a prefab in this case. Where is it? Damn, I'm not organized. I got everything scattered everywhere. There they are. Damn. Didn't think I was going to ever find them. Yeah, it would be great. Would be great is if they like had where you could have like a loo in here for these, so you can tell it not to focus on these when you tab through things. I thought I saw somewhere where I thought I saw enter vehicle yes or no. I thought was also in the prefab file, but it's been a while since I looked at it. Like these fireballs, for example, like can save. I thought I saw in here one. I thought I saw can enter vehicle yes or no, but that might not be where I seen it at. Auto enter vehicle equals true. Auto enter vehicle equals true. So that's what I was thinking I saw, where if that says false, it wouldn't let you tab into it. But I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. About 95%. 95% thinking I'm probably wrong. Yeah, when they updated this game, I had a few of my decals were messed up in here. It wasn't the update's fault. It was my fault. I had it pulling textures from the vehicles folder for a track asset. So that was my own doing. But weirdly though, the alpha channels were off on these again. Let's see. Hey, it's not letting me tab to those fireballs. Now the question is, yeah, they did spawn. So it did work. So if I go to the prefab for the game, that Squid game, and I say auto enter vehicle faults, then it shouldn't allow tabbing between it. That'd be awesome. I remembered seeing this, but I was like, maybe I don't know if that's going to work. We'll try it and see. But it seems to be working pretty good. Let me retry it. Let me reload it and see. Be right back. Let me, give me 1 second. Load this and be back in a second. All right. Let's see. I can't get my 3D Blender object to beam in G Drive. Um, well, your object, you can't get it to beam. You have a level that you already have made. If you go to Blender, just for an example, if you're in Blender and you make an object, like I say, these train tracks. So you want to put these in the game. Well, is your object joined together, for one thing? If, like these, I would join these together so they're just one object. If you're making a track asset, now if you're making a mod, that's completely different. Damn, something's got me coughing. I think I'm nervous. I always get nervous when I do these live streams. Man, throat got dry. If you're making a mod, that's completely different than a track asset. A track asset, like a DAE file, for example, we'd join these together. Damn. Hope I'm not getting sick. Alright, join. So like this would be a track asset, for example. It's got two textures, but we'd export it as DAE. And like for example, in this Utah map, in the art folder, in your levels art folder, make a new folder when you export something new. That way, when you send it in there, the game will make a texture for you. But the game, if the game's already loaded, like in this case, the game's already loaded, you'd want to reload the level since that texture's not, well, the texture's already made actually. Because that assets aren't in here, but you'd go to your asset browser and import it in from the asset browser if it's a track asset, like these train tracks. And see, they'll be in that folder that you create. See, like new. And then you would just take it and drag it and drop it into your scene. And then use visible mesh final if you want to use the same object for the collision mesh. But you don't have to do that. You can have it have its own collision mesh in Blender, but you have to do it a little different. Like these tracks, for example, if you wanted them to have their own, a different collision mesh than the actual visible mesh, then you would have to I just say add mesh cube. For example, we'll make it just a quick cube. To be approximately what the mesh would be. Alright. Now duplicate it and move it over here. And make one for the bottom. Alright, then you would join like these objects that you made for this, for those parts, like say this one, and this. Join it. And this would be your collision mesh. COLMESH-1. And then the other asset being the track. Then you need to add two empty plane axes. And like this, and you call one base 0, 0 and the other start 0, 1. That's kind of like, think of these as like file structures. Like, think of these like this. Like on your desktop, you got a folder. Say you got a folder called collection. And then inside of that folder, you have a folder called base 0, 0. And then inside of that folder, you have a folder called Start 0, 1. So basically what you're doing in Blender is you're putting the collision mesh and the mesh inside of Start 0, 1. And the way it knows the collision mesh is the collision mesh in Blender is because it's called COLMESH-1. So you'll hold shift, left click, drag and drop, put empty. Put that empty into there. I thought I just named that. Start 01. See, now scene collection, you could call that another folder, and collection. These are already in here when you load Blender. So all you're doing is adding base 00 and start 01 into the collection folder like this. And then you'll hold shift, left click, drag and drop and put those into there like this. And now if you wanted to do like LOD management for like this object, so it's currently let's say only 552 polygons. But if you wanted it to have log management, you put like an underscore, a little letter A, and like say 500. Then duplicate it, and then call this one like same thing. Put 150 after the A, and with the 150, you'll do a decimate on it. Modifier decimate. Reduce it until it's, you'll want to hide the high polygon model so you can kind of see what the low poly looks like. And you know, you just get it to something that's reduced poly count, but it's probably about as low as we can go right there. Apply it, and now you got two LODs. I wouldn't do a billboard for train tracks, but you could if you wanted to. I guess you could add a mesh. I'm sorry, add a empty plane axis. Same thing as these two, but this one you'll name it BB underscore auto billboard 25, and you'll put that inside a base. So this would be how the complete structure would look. And someone asked me a while back, what about the green things? That don't matter. That doesn't matter. And so this is how you would export this. What the LOD management is, basically this thing will draw when it's like 25 pixels big as a billboard. And then when it gets to 150, whatever that number is in size, it'll transition to the high poly model. But if that size, think about it being far away. If it's 25 pixels tall, it's going to be a billboard. When it's 150 pixels, it'll show you the low LOD. And then at 500 pixels, the high LOD. But it's kind of weird how it flips between the two. It just depends on how many LODs are in there, depending on when they actually do the transition. But those work for me pretty good. And this way you don't have to rebuild collisions. I mean, you do rebuild collisions, you just don't have to set visible mesh final. So we added this after the fact. Refresh assets. Where did I put that? Damn it. Train tracks. Forgot where I put it. So this would be the one with the LOD management. So you get far enough away, it'll draw a billboard. 2D sprite. You can also go up in the shape editor and you can force detail and switch between the LOD transitions to see the different ones. See, that would be the billboard. And like I said, that ain't gonna do right because that's logs and train tracks don't do good making billboards. But that's the first LOD, which is the 228 polygons, and that's the other one, the higher poly. It's good to have LOD management on everything, though, because not everybody has a 4090 graphics card, so it's good to have LOD management. Even if you don't need it, if you share your resources with other people, they could probably use it. And BeamNG9 channel, I have no idea what that is. You know, BeamNG9 channel. I don't know what that is unless that's a YouTube. I started learning the World Editor in March of 2021. I didn't know much of anything back then. Had a lot of complaints. Had more problems with textures than I had any problems with anything else. My Steam page, I can go into I actually posted my complaint. When I started learning the World Editor, I posted my complaint in BeamNG and the community thing here. Let's see, there's screenshots. I can scroll down in history to like one of the first things I made in here. Before I knew about any groups or anything, I was sharing all of my stuff in here. I'm not sharing stuff, just sharing screenshots in here. And yeah, so this is like the first thing I ever imported in the game from. Actually, this came from 3D Studio, which was even more difficult to damn import in. Then things they use bounds and other boxes for like the objects, which I still don't quite understand. But yeah, this was my issue I had. When was this posted? This was posted September 8th. That can't be right. Don't. Yeah, so like this was like another issue. Hey, and that was my official complaint right there. It's like I get one thing to work and then everything else wouldn't have working texture. So yeah, the channel had 12 subs back then. And textures were giving me a lot of trouble. Now they're not a problem. I mean, I know what I was doing wrong. But I thought it was so difficult for me to figure it out that once I figure this stuff out, if I can make it easier for anybody else, then that's what I started making the videos on the channel. So that as I started making things, I figured they'd help out the next person. That was like, BeamNG9. I think as long as I don't play the videos, it probably will. I don't think it'll. Actually, I can pull it up on my phone. That way, I don't get copyright strikes. Oh, these are those slides. People love those neon colored slides. So that's what you want to make, the slides. I'm not sure which video. If you have a particular video in here, I'll check it out. Tell me which one. I'm looking at the channel now, BeamNG9, and there's a few different videos in here. I've actually made a few of these things. People have asked me about making some of these things. Uh, the teleporter, the little portal, like these slides with stairs with these little teleporter things. Yeah, those are pretty easy to make in Blender. Resizing cars, that's thanks to Agent Y. He made that a lot easier for everybody. You know how much I make a month? 0. I don't make anything yet. That channel still isn't monetized. It's close though. But I knew when I made the channel, I said more people watch crash videos than they watch educational stuff. I already knew this. But I figured, man, there's enough people making crash videos. I wasn't going to try to compete with all those people. Because there's a lot of good channels out there. I just wanted to specialize in helping folks and making things. Because I love to make things. I like making things, like be like an inventor. You know, I think of myself as like a beam inventor. But now that the channel's close to being monetized, now I am thinking like, damn, I didn't ever think I'd get this far. So yeah, I'm thinking more about like making crash videos and stuff. Well, I love making things, and I like giving things away. You know, I like sharing things I make, and I think of myself as the Beam NG Santa Claus. Now I just figured you do nice to folks, you know. It comes back to help you one day, you know. You do good for others and good will return. But I am doing crash videos too. I just haven't done very many. I tell you, I don't have the patience to do, like a lot of y'all have patience to sit there for hours and set up these elaborate things, but I get impatient. I'll spend most of the day making something, and then when it comes time to actually record it, the editing part's the part I don't like. It takes so long for video to process. So I'm using Blender to process videos, but that's just, damn, it takes longer to process the encoding than it does to actually make the video. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I thought I fixed that. God damn it. I thought I fixed that where the prefab wouldn't allow me to. Let me look at this again. Yeah, I saved that. It should. I thought that fixed my problem. Because I didn't want people to be able to tab to the other things that spawn with the level. But I guess I got no choice. I have to cycle through them. So I got other things that spawn with the level that are dynamic things that break, and the only way I could get them to spawn with free roam is to pack them as a prefab. But I thought I fixed, I don't know, I thought just a minute ago it didn't. I thought, maybe I'm losing my mind. I thought it wouldn't let me cycle through them. I thought the problem was fixed, but no, it's not fixed. I'm still cycling through them. Shit. Oh well, I am not worrying about it. I've done enough worrying on it. We'll move on. Try to finish this thing. What are you wanting to create exactly? Because I take requests, like when people ask me all the time, can I make this or that? if you got a link to a channel that's got something you want to make, I'll try to make it and make a video on how to make it. That's what I've done in the past anyway, is I basically, people ask me to make this or that or the other, and I make a video on how I made it. Slides are popular. Them teleporter portals. People ask me a lot about them resizable cars. Those things, I tell you, if it wasn't for Agent Y, that wouldn't be possible. That's far beyond my knowledge. This is like one of those cars. This was the example car that is. I changed the one that Drowsy Sam made. I modified it to have this car with wings that can fly. The cameras all crazy. See, this is what's irritating, because I'm tabbing between things, and it's like, oh, I just realized something they took out of here. They took out the thrusters. So I've been using the old hammer T and G to rotate the hammer for thrusters, and they removed that because this had a thruster in it. Now it doesn't work. Just the wings work. The wings were basically added J-beams. If I reset it and I show the triangles, you can see the J-beam structure is like kind of like metal framework, which when you steer left and right, you see these wires here. Those are hydros. Like when you steer left and right, they contract and expand. So I attach them to the nodes that are here on the top of these, to the ends of the wings. So if you steer left and right, it basically flaps like a bird. It took a lot of experimenting. I didn't actually even think it would work, but it works a lot better when it's actually moving. Now I got to figure out how to do that. They've been warning for a long time. They're like, don't use those letters. They said this will be depreciated soon, and so I see they finally depreciated it. And I'll tell you, if you want to learn car making, the best person that I've found that's made videos on how to make cars is this guy here. His name's Moritz. This is where I go when I want to learn new things. 'Cause I still haven't learned everything he's taught yet. I'm at the wheels now as a part of where I'm at in my learning. But he's got some videos on the basics, modding tutorial basics, and he starts off making just a simple box and how you make that the car body, and then he goes into like making the wheels, how to make fire with the gas tanks, how the engines work. The guy's really smart, but this is like the basic stuff that makes a car go, and he explains it. He's the only person I've known that can explain the stuff that I can follow it. You know what I mean? Other people have made videos on things, and it's like I just, for whatever reason, couldn't follow what they were saying. But his videos have helped me understand it a lot more. But yeah, that's who I would go to, his channel for anything related to making cars. Of course, when I get it all learned, I will. Oh, I am. My name is Terry. I am an old fart. I am 48. Wait, am I 48 or 47? Damn, that's bad. I was born in 74. I forget how old I am sometimes. Um, this is the only thing besides Duke Nukem that I've ever modded. Duke Nukem and Motocross Madness back in the year 1998, I think. It's the only games I ever tried to mod for. And I just love BeamNG. I saw this on a laptop like 8 years ago or so. And I said, oh man, when I get a computer, I got to get a computer. That's going to be the first game I buy. Well, it was actually not the first game. Fallout 4 was the first. This was the second one. I didn't go into my hours. I've put 2,300 hours into it. And I rarely ever play the game. I'm always making things in the world editor. So most of this, all but about 300 hours are in the world editor. Pretty much all of these is world editor hours. But yeah, this was like one of my first purchases. Yeah, it's like number 2. I've always liked physics. Hey, send me a link to what you want, a video on how to make. Like, send a link to, or post a link in here, if it'll let you post a link. And, or just email me the link. That'd probably be better. Email a link and I'll look at the video and see if it's something I can make. You can just email it to this email here. artistterrymartin@yahoo.com. This damn thing worked on. Get this thing fixed. Alright. I don't know if anybody knows, you can copy the river properties to your clipboard and you can make another river and paste them. Like, I spent a long time getting them values set so that it would look like that. still doesn't look like I really want it to look, but it'll work. And this also is for anybody who wanted to make a lava river. I said I would go over how I did this. So this is the traditional water, the ones that everybody has seen in the game, but I just did a lot of adjusting, mostly like the ripple texture. That's using a different texture, using just this image here for the ripple texture. So I'm not seeing a thumbnail for some reason. And the foam texture is using a different material too. I'm thinking of using that for the foam material. But oh, that actually works pretty good. See, you can have foam have a different texture than the traditional water foam, and then you have the amount of influence that the ripples have on the foam. So you have a couple different things you can slide between, and the maximum depth of the foam, the opacity of the foam. And then you have these colors that affect it. I don't use any reflectivity. Why does this keep pausing? Oh, because vehicle kept going in the lava and it was messing up the damn game. I think it's time to delete the temp folder. I think it's in a never-ending loop. I wonder if it's gonna load. Oh, I'm not believing this. I'm not believing that. I better believe it. My son's gone. It sure is. The sun is gone. Or the time of day is wrong. Finally. Damn, messed my lights up. Couldn't get them fixed or nothing. Yeah, I had a few things. Yeah, a few things ain't working for me either. Uh, Interestingly, like uh, the alpha channel, uh, the alpha channels got to be turned back on for some reason. They were turned off on these trees. That was one thing I noticed. Yeah, these little trees that were after the update, they were not like this. They looked like this. So yeah, that was one thing I had to fix. No, I haven't really messed with it much since they updated it. Well, that's not true. I've been in here a lot. I just haven't. I guess what I'm trying to say, I haven't noticed a lot of stuff related to the update. One of the main things that I did notice is thrusters are now apparently removed that used to use key bindings like this one here. If we go to the vehicles, mods, hold on a minute, let me find it. This particular type of Lua, where it says input keys T, this is using the this is a Lua for the giant hammer. Remember that mod that T and G rotate? Well, I use that same thing in my mod for this bird, and when I spawn it, it no longer has thrusters. But they've been warning, I know at least for the past 3 or 4 updates, they keep saying in the console, like when this car, it says, hey, you're using these keys to for thrusters, they're going to be depreciated soon. See, if I hit letter T and letter G for thrust, I don't get any thrust. So I guess they finally did take that out. Yeah, try to use input keys T, which is outdated. The vehicle creator should instead use vehicle-specific bindings. See, this is beyond my knowledge of modding. I don't understand yet how to do that. I do know how to do it. The hydros, though, which are the steering, they still function. But the thrusters no longer are functioning. I'll figure it out. It's just going to take me a while longer to figure it out. That's the only thing I've noticed so far that's not working. Everything else seems to be. I've just been fighting with this thing for the past few minutes to get my sky back. Apparently I deleted the sky accidentally. I didn't mean to, but I did. And I can tell you that settings in the sun sky apparently do not save, or maybe some of them do, but I found out too the info, like this is supposed to be red fog in here now. It doesn't matter what I set this to, it doesn't ever remember that it's red. If I set this to be this, I save the level, come back, it's not red like it says it is. Which, I don't know, that's something I've noticed, but I noticed this before the update. I'm not sure why that happens. Yeah, there's a lot of mods using that, but hey, they've been warning people for a long time. I know they have. I've read it because I've used that. I've used those same T and G keys for that same loose script. And now see the fog's here, but it's not red. That's something that's been annoying me. I haven't been able to figure out. Oh, and either I forgot to save that. I might have forgot. Now I'm curious, is that actually fixed now? Let me see. But see, my fog is not red like I want it to be red. It's still white. So that's something I yet to understand. The red is red, not white. It don't matter what color you make it, it's still not remembering. No idea. But I'll save it and come back. See if my alpha channels are fixed. See if the sky, I know the sky's not going to be fixed though. Hey, I figured out a way to make like the ground look like it's only the ground has fog, and I was going to use it to make like lava glow. Every time I loaded it back, it was blue instead of red. I was like, well, this ain't gonna work. So I just use glowing decals now. Yeah, see, it's foggy. It's just not remembering the color red, and if I manually edit that, it's not remembering it either. Like in the level, you got fog, sky, and all that stuff in your level, and I'm not sure exactly. I have to find it. Not that. Mission items. Main items. No, not that. Mission group. I think these are all. I don't remember where it is, but I did manually add it, change it, wherever the hell it was at. I changed it and it didn't make a difference. Yeah, because I'm looking for it, I'm not going to find it. I don't remember where the hell it was at. But I ain't worrying about it now. So I'm looking for it, I won't find it. But yeah, that's one of the things I noticed too. But other than that, everything else seems to be working so far. Actually, that did come back blue, didn't it? Hmm. Yeah, she had to go to the doctor today. She's got an upper respiratory infection. Hey, can you make me a coffee? Make it with that strong black coffee, that the Vietnamese coffee that we got, and just put what you normally put in yours, if you can. Thank you. All right, this stuff. Let's move this stuff. Get this where it's supposed to go. I need some ash. That's what I need. I need ashy ground. So I'm gonna make a new terrain paint with ash. So when you see burnt forest and burnt stuff from lava, well, it's got another layer from what I remember. I guess it depends too how long it's been sitting. I'm looking for areas that have already burned, like this. This is what I'm thinking. So this is more of this ash. I mean, I realize this is like burnt twigs and things, but that's more or less what I want. Because I made some burnt twigs in the game. Why does this keep loading like this? Uh, like these little burnt twigs and sticks and whatnot, but that's not really doing it for me. I want to have something that it's like a terrain paint that I can paint. So what I do when I need that, I go to Blender, I load this Blender file, and I believe I've already shared this here. Let's see, where is it? Of course, it'd be behind here. No, where is it at? Damn it. There it is. So I already have this set up so that the render engine set to GPU compute, and I got basically everything I need to more or less pick material. I'm not sure what comes with Blender Kit as far as materials for ash. Maybe that's ash wood. Let me see, burn. Burnt planks. Burn wooden planks. Wrinkled aluminum foil. Damn, that's not even tiled. I mean, it is tiled. I want a seamless tile. I like that. I can just modify it. So we're going to make this a material for the terrain painter. Basically, you're going to go to shader, add a new texture image. This will be 2048 by 2048 because it'll be the base map. And then we'll need a macro and a detail map. But for now, this is all we need. We'll bake this here. We'll just do diffuse. Oh. Alright, now the way I do these, when I save my images, I save, like for this level here, I have in the art folder, terrains, and then here I have subfolders for my terrain paint. So this will be forest ground, but I'm going to make this more like burnt forest ground. Alright, since this is a 2048 by 2048, and I know this is going to be the base material, I'm just going to name the image 2048. I don't want any compression, and I'll know that can work as a base image. Now I'm going to render a 1024 version of it, and that'd be I could use it for the macro. I'm not sure that I will, but I'm just going to have it just in case I need it. I'll just call this 1024. Alright, now the normals map for the macro, bake that with linear light, change it to normals, and I'll bake one for the 2048 also. So that'd be the normals, image save as. I just put 1024 underscore in for normals, and then bake it 2048 with the same thing. Oh, that's sRGB. I forgot to. That'd be linear. But this actually works too. I've been able to bake sRGB normals and it seems to work. Save as. This will be 2048 underscore in. For normals. Now bake roughness. $2048R. Until it be black and white. But black and white is not, I don't think it actually is the same thing as grayscale. I don't know. Sometimes I get weird things when I save it as black and white. Sometimes it doesn't seem to do right. So I'll save both. RGB roughness instead of grayscale. And do a 1024. I may use this for the detail map. Non-color. Alright, let's look at some others. the coffee that is in that bag. Be right back. Can't bake roughness if you don't have anything going to roughness. So I just took one of these images that make this image to make the texture and stuck it in roughness. Oh, I did that linear. Not sure if roughness can, but the best way to bake that. Non-linear, linear, non-color. Don't know. A little R for roughness. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Let's load back the game. Hey, yeah, have a good evening. Damn, I forgot about the chat. I get busy. I forget to look. So I need another display. I can have my chat window open and my other window open. Alright, so let's go to here. We're going to test our new terrain paint. let's see here. Automatic terrain paint PBR. New material. Name your material. I'm gonna call it ash. Add material so that it appears over here, and then you can actually edit it. Oh, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy they put ground model in here. You just don't know. I'm happier than a dog with 3 testicles. Yep, that makes me happy. I don't have to manually add them. So in the level small, Utah 2, let's see, art, terrains. Alright, this is the new one, forest, ash, whatever. So to get a preview for your texture, the only thing you have to have is a base image. Oh, and you'll want to copy this to your clipboard, because I wish this would remember where you went last, but every time you pick this, it goes back to this root. When you have to fill all these out, it's like, man, come on, man. So you just copy that to your... Damn it, I copied the wrong thing to my clipboard. Levels, Utah 2, art, terrains, forest. Copy everything but the bracket. Then you can paste it and not have to navigate. So we just need a base material, and we need ambient occlusion base. That's it. I'll just use a roughness for ambient occlusion. Save changes and then add the material. I'm gonna move it up here, and we'll get the basic image of this, which is basically drawing it at 256. This really is a macro texture. This isn't really intended to be something that you use for a base, but it worked. I mean, you can still use it. And a macro, I'm going to try the other one and see what it looks like in there combined with that. So the macro, I mean, base textures are 2048 by 2048. You know, basically these things have 5 materials, and each one has a base texture, and each base texture, since it's defined here as 2048 by 2048, they all need to be 2048 by 2048. And since the macro and details are defined as 1024s, well, the 5 materials that make up a terrain paint here in the PBR, all 5 of them all have macro and detail, macro, detail, basically every one of them. But if you just want to preview the most basic, all you need to put is a macro texture in there. So that'll be this 1024 that re-rendered. And I can tell you now, this isn't going to work. This is going to be way too dark. And then the ambient occlusion macro, which I'll use that roughness. And now you'll have macro, and you'll have but I don't see anything. Well, it used to work like that. Apparently that's not the bare minimum anymore. Unless that map wasn't 1024. Might have. Ah, look at what that dumbass did. That's a 1024 by 1042. That'd be why it didn't work. I don't know who baked that, but they didn't know what they were doing. What the hell? Man, that was my best work, man. Shit. Nah, I just print screen and damn, I hate when that happens. Oh, I forgot about the damn chat window. Oh, okay. Ain't no one waiting here. I was thinking I was like, damn, I forget I'm live streaming. Which I don't think nobody's in here. So I'm just talking to myself at the moment. I was damn surprised it recovered that. Usually don't get that lucky. A little smoke here. Some smoke. saved that shit.